Joining me now is John Spencer, chair of Urban Warfare Studies at the Modern War Institute at West Point. He's also been the host of the podcast Urban Warfare Project. John, thanks for being with us. This is remarkable, the call to arms that has been made, the things that people are being asked to do, but mostly the fact that they are doing them. There are people who can look at the math and say, we live next to this massive country, a nuclear-armed country with one of the biggest land armies on Earth, but I'm staying to fight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this war has just begun, but I can't agree with you more. Look at the bravery of these. Now, I don't like seeing civilians fighting, and I really hope that doesn't have to continue, but Ukraine is showing the world what it looks like to fight Europe, and this Putin overreached, and this is really going to show Putin and the world what you can do when your nation is unified.
You have a lot of tips for people, but one of them, and I know nothing about urban warfare, so I was quite surprised to read that, is that an invasion is about somebody coming into your country. So step number one would be to impede them getting into your country. You literally talk about putting obstacles in the streets that would prevent the Russian military from getting into your cities.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that should really, and that's a way that citizens that they're asking to help, because they want to help and some just don't have the training. Across history, barriers in the road, and you don't, like you see Kharkiv last night, they're driving around. If all those roads were blocked, you'd slow them down. You have tanks running out of gas already. This is all about Russia trying to take Kyiv. If they can't get to Kyiv, it's going to be a lot harder to take it. And they can really slow them down by just putting things in a road. Park a bus in the road. And man, I tell you from experience, that causes a lot of problem.
Let's talk about weaponry. We are hearing, in fact, the how to build a Molotov cocktail became one of the most popular searches on Google. People are being allowed, assuming you have paperwork and can prove that you're not a criminal, get weaponry, small arms, guns. We spoke to a member of parliament who was getting trained on slightly larger weaponry. And she did point out that it's most of the training is safety, right? Not shooting yourself and not shooting the people around you. It's not so much target practice. But how much can an individual civilian do? Yeah,
it can do a lot. Like I said, urban warfare is the hardest type of fighting in the world. It doesn't matter how powerful you are. A Russian special forces soldier, there's a weapon in a window. Look at all those windows, millions of windows. A civilian could be inside of a window shooting out, and the soldier would have no clue where it is. Now, I fear for the civilians or the soldiers. You have to use the urban terrain to your advantage. There's no reason why you should be standing in the open. You can, like an urban sniper, can put fear in the hearts of the soldiers, and I think that's happening.
Let's talk about fear for a second. I want you to tell me about, you're a trained military person. You understand this. You guys are trained to understand how to manage your fear. There's this adrenaline, this rush going through Ukrainian civilians with whom I'm talking to. It is morale boosting. Some of it are these videos from their president who, was asked to leave. It was suggested to him he leave. He keeps posting videos to say, I'm not leaving. I'm here. Come back and fight with us. We've even heard that on the Polish border, people are coming back. They're crossing the border to get supplies and things like that, or get their family over. Then they're coming back to fight. Talk to me about how morale feeds this courage.
Absolutely. Morale is 10 to 1 more important than anything else. And hope is the greatest weapon that you could ever have on the battlefield. And you see these messages from the president saying, I'm here, I'm fighting. That has more power than any weapon in the world, because it helps those individual civilians keep resisting. And that's what it's going to take to beat Russia, is continued resistance. They overreached. But yeah, the individual civilians, fear, desperation, all these things that can seep into you. The way you combat that is giving them hope with these messages, giving them hope with these stories. Come on, like the Snake Island stories of, despite overwhelming military, you're going to not do well. Resistance in the face of all that. If they group together, that helps a lot too. So fighting alone is the worst thing in the world. But this also puts now desperation in the Russian soldiers. If they think every corner, every house is a possible death trap, this can work.
John Spencer is the chair of urban warfare studies at the Modern War Institute at West Point. He's the host of the podcast Urban Warfare Project. John, thank you for being with us this morning.